Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm, at the park as usual, doing my routine of shooting hoops, even though I am cooking tonight as usual. And I just did part one of these Philly cheesesteaks that I'm supposed to be making. But, lately, y'all, I've been kind of despondent about the whole, thing and over back on the East Coast, you know, over the states that have been affected by hurricanes Helene and Milton, you know, and the devastation, that's some nasty business. That's some nasty work, man. And I know Negroes are getting online. Yeah, man. I know Negroes are getting online talking about sundown towns and parading, really parading their ignorance to say the least. But they're making mockery of all the devastation that has taken place, not only in Florida, but I can only imagine the Carolinas, especially North Carolina, and East Tennessee, and parts of Georgia that have been affected by these hurricanes. And I dare say that Hurricane Helene was probably even worse than Hurricane Milton, even though Hurricane Milton dropped a lot of tornadoes. And it's crazy to me realizing that hurricanes are such powerful storms that that they're even capable of forming tornadoes that as destructive as they are. Because from what I hear, Hurricane Milton, it wasn't so much that the hurricane did you know Florida some damage as much as the tornadoes that Hurricane Milton left behind. They said there was some 20 tornado warnings throughout the state of Florida. So yeah, man, I've been pretty beat up about it. Even with all the mockery, Negroes are leaving behind and the outrage, them folks have been putting out there about Negroes, um, making fun of the whole situation. So y'all have to forgive me. There is singing in this video. Y'all excuse me. There's a goddamn siren. Y'all know what it is. I swear it's almost like I moved to the New York of the West. So even in a secluded place like this, this is the kind of buffoonery that can be found. And it's not exactly late. It's probably only like 8:20 or so. So yeah, the city's doing what the city does. But anyway, I thought I would sing two songs to commemorate all the destruction that has taken place in Hurricane Helene. I say Hurricane Helene, in the areas affected by Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. Not almost, but as a, to basically keep the victims in my thoughts, and I dare even say my prayers. So forgive me. Like I said, there is singing. I'm giving y'all the heads up that I will be singing two songs, one in the beginning and one at the end of this vid. So bear with me, if you will. There is a house in New Orleans. Psych! The hell? I'm feeling some sorry for some garbage ass niggas, some garbage ass white supremacists, some garbage ass people, period, over there down south. You got this ninja all kinds of fucked up. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. If you thought I was gonna get on this, and you know what? You know what? I just thought about it too. Not that I fuck with this cone ass nigga Kali Muscle like that. I don't fuck with him like that, especially that little stunt he did with his eyes. You know, basically exhibiting his self-hatred as a Negro and all the coon shit that he's done that damn near cost him his life. You know, fucked around and had a heart attack. Now he's got to change up his whole fiasco, basically, his whole diet, his whole way of life. Now this dude's basically a fruitarian. But I will say this much. He had an op, right? And it's my understanding the nigga's name was Big Letty. And this weird ass swole nigga, Big Letty, apparently died. And like I said, even though I don't fuck with Kali Muscle like that, you know, and it ain't like I got anything personal against him, anything, nothing like that, except the fact that, you know, he was just, you know, before the heart attack, he was just out here doing the most, just being a whole coon. Nigga up here eating whole buckets of fried chicken, smacking his lips. I mean, just doing the most. I even heard some pretty degenerate stuff that he was doing, like jacking off on I mean, doing anything for coon, like just being a whole coon. I'm like, nigga, besides your big ass muscles and all that other sort of shit, nigga, what do you have to offer the world? I would say this society, but I ain't like, you know, to talk about what we have to offer this garbage ass society, it would be a hypocritical statement in and of itself. But I mean, what do you have to offer to the world besides your big swole nigga muscles and getting up here basically doing mukbangs that eventually cause your ass to have a heart attack? Not to mention all the roids and shit. It's like, anyway, this nigga was basically expressing his contempt for Big Letty, who recently passed away. I don't know the whole story. I don't even know who Big Letty is. For all I know, from the info that I've gathered, is that he was just some big swole nigga who had it out for Kali Muscle. And from what I'm hearing, he liked black chicks and he liked trannies. And Kali Muscle wasn't reserved to point that out. And the fact that you don't wish all the evil that he did on him. And then apparently dude was a racist too. From what I gather, he was a racist. And he was saying, you don't do all that fuck shit. He was basically saying, you don't do all that fuck shit, and then something fucked up happens to you, and then you expect me to say R.I.P. I'm like, nah. He was like, nah, fuck that weird, and like, fuck that weirdo ass nigga. Fuck him. So likewise, and you know, I was tripping off the shit. Because it's almost like, you know, it's almost like it's a given. It's almost like an unspoken rule that when somebody of another race gets fucked up, black people, even after enduring all the mistreatment that we endure from this society and have endured from this society, we're supposed to be, it's like this unspoken rule that we're supposed to be the coons and the coonettes who come out of the woodwork with banjos, with drums, with Bibles in hand, and with the choir robes, talking about some "we shall overcome" and kumbaya. And I'm here to tell you, for anybody who's got it, let alone the victims of these two hurricanes, maybe you just, I'm like, I just for the life of me do not understand it. Maybe you just don't know how to read the room. I don't know what the fuck is going on with people who think that black people, and no doubt we definitely have our coons, like the way I was fake cooning when I got up on here acting like I've lost any ounce of sleep over the devastation that took place over on the East Coast, with Florida getting fucked up, Georgia getting fucked up, North Carolina getting fucked up, and East Tennessee getting fucked up. And looking at that, like, I give a fuck. I'm like, I don't live there. Shit. And even when I was living in Tennessee, I lived in West Tennessee. Memphis is in the western part of Tennessee. But it was definitely an eye-opener, because I didn't think that hurricane had to be something serious for flood waters to reach that far, so far, because it's North Carolina that's at the coastline. Like, you got to go through a whole, like, the entirety of North Carolina to get to the coastline from Tennessee. So the fact that thing reached as far as East Tennessee, this motherfucker must have been big. Because it fucked some shit up in East Tennessee. I was like, God, dog. That's crazy. But, now, I've seen videos of, them folks responding to black folks having, a gig and a laugh, talking about the ancestors did this, talking about, the ancestors did this, sundown towns that. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Especially about the sundown towns. But did we not just see, just before the hurricanes hit, was it not little than a week ago? Let's go down memory lane, right? Because you got these folks, right? They're mad, these Mzungus. And, seeing that I speak a little bit of Zulu, I think it's Umzungu. I think that's the proper way of saying it in Zulu, Umzungu. And anyway, and it's not like I practice Zulu like that. It's just a language I picked up a few years back, and I got a book on it. But, hell if I practice it like that. I got the understanding of Zulu of a 2-year-old, basically. And I've run across some people. It amazes me just how many people I've met from South Africa. How many people I've run into from South Africa, and basically talk to them in either Zulu or what I call Dutch. They call Afrikaans down there. But anyway, which, yeah, let me say, kind of does go into the defiance of the caricature that this society has for me. And then they fuck around and find out that a ninja like me speaks Zulu, speaks Dutch, let alone so many other languages. Because they genuinely do fight hard for our caricatures, these stereotypes of black people. Like, we ain't feeling like, as if we don't feel some type of way after 400 years. I mean, you enslaved us for 400 years, and you out here still practicing WS, and you have the unmitigated gall and the nerve to think that we gonna feel sorry for your ass after I dare say the Most High himself, as they claim the ancestors came in and fucked your shit up, and basically visited, like the Bible says, visited the third and fourth, visited the iniquities of the third and fourth generation of them that hate him. We supposed to feel sorry for you? Because I saw these videos of them up here expressing outrage at black folks, talking about basically in their response that, of how racist the South is, and they were sitting up here justifying it, saying, like, I remember this, there was this one dude talking about where he's from, that there's no racial hatred, that they're all poor up there in Appalachia, particularly in Appalachia, which is pretty much the part of the area where they got hit, like East Tennessee, North Carolina, pretty much Appalachia, pretty much. Same shit, different hole. And they up here talking about that there's no racial, that there's black people living in Appalachia, there's Latinos living in Appalachia, and of course there are poor whites, living in that part of Tennessee, up in the mountains. And like I said, for floods to have reached, if it was in the mountains that those floods went, my God, that must have been a powerful hurricane, a devastating hurricane. But let me ask you something. Was it not, at the most, no more than 2 weeks ago, prior to that storm, was there not a young brother, and I believe his first name was Javion, I don't remember his last name, but for the sake of, I'm not going to waste my time trying to figure out the correction of his name. So for the sake of the video, let's just assume that the brother's name was Javion, because, black folks, they are all kinds of Jaquavius. But for the sake of the video, just bear with me. Wasn't there a brother, a black trucker, who went down to North Carolina from his native Chicago? Was there not, just at the latest 2 weeks, not 2 months, because it was recent that this happened, and then the hurricanes hit, that this brother went to some small town, whether or not sundown, I'm not even going to get into that. Not right now, anyway. Was there not a young brother, or a young black truck driver, who went down to, I believe, Henderson, North Carolina, went to distribute some goods for a Walmart down there, and bought some rope. And then next thing we know, he comes up missing. And then when they did find his body, they found his body with a noose tied around his neck. And the local police down there ruled it out as a suicide. Did that not just happen? Am I making this up? Am I bullshitting? Am I senile? I know I'm getting up in age. I turn 39 next month, and that's just a few weeks away. So I know I'm getting pretty senile. I know my memory, I'm experiencing memory loss, which is why I don't remember this nigga's name. Like I said, I breed lucky. I consider myself lucky if I remember his first name, let alone his last name, if I got that much right. That this brother Javion, this black trucker, Javion, went down there and basically got himself lynched. And this right here speaks volumes to what I have been saying when it comes to the Pookies and the Ray Rays and the Glocktaviuses, and how they seem to be left alone and not fucked with until they do something really egregious and get caught up in the prison industrial complex, versus the black folks who got a 9-to-5, who out here working, who out here supplying the country. This brother went, like I said, coming from Chicago, went down there to distribute goods and services so that them rednecks down there don't end up having a food supply shortage as well as other resources just to get himself lynched. Because, as bad as it would be in the city, in the major cities like, capitals, kind of like where I currently am. I am in the capital of this goofy ass state, Colorado. It ain't the first time I've lived in the capital. Hell, I lived in Nashville and Atlanta, so it ain't the first time I've lived in the capital of the state. But I have been saying it for the longest that they target the 9 to 5 Negroes. It's either the two things are going on. But in my experience, it would seem to me they come after the working brothers even harder. The black man, and to our surprise, come to find out something that we had to basically fuck around and find out why that is because that's part of American history. They've always gone after black folks. They've always gone and targeted black folks who was actually doing what they supposed to do. Going to work, going to school, staying out of trouble, staying out of jail, making a living the right way. Those are the Negroes that they go out of their way to target. And then they're going to come up with that old ass bold-faced lie. But you know what I'm finally starting to realize, though? It's almost like that gospel song that I learned a long time ago or heard a long time ago. Because, sometimes when I look at these folks, I be sitting up here and I just be thinking to myself, these people ain't figured out that we're not just one big nigga. These people haven't figured out that you can't just walk up to black people with a bunch of fried chicken and watermelon and grease pots and french fries and ham hocks and hog maws and collard greens. These people ain't figured that out, that you can't just come up to us with nigger trinkets. Now the coons you can, and those Negroes are exactly why they feel like they can do that. But at least there's a handful of Negroes, I can say, that you can't just go up to them with nigger trinkets. I mean, hell, what if I went up to the Chinese community? I was just thinking of this shit. How would I be received if I went up to the Chinese community, and I speak Chinese, by the way, and I went up to them with, and no pun intended, I mean, I went up to them with not only classical Chinese dishes, but even stereotypical Chinese dishes like egg rolls, things that come to find out Chinese people don't really fuck with like that. Chinese people don't really fuck with egg rolls like that, believe it or not, because that's a Chinese American dish. So having said that, what if I went up to them with some egg foo young, which is Chinese, by the way. They do eat egg foo young, at least in the Canton region, in Guangdong province. So I'm rocking egg foo young, sesame chicken, egg rolls, maybe some beef noodle soup. Just being a whole asshole. And if I really want to be an asshole, like the folks would do, and I know the folks would do to see, I'm giving them the benefit of their stare. Yeah, some pork, some Peking duck and some roasted pork. Because, I don't bother with the folk stereotypes about Chinese people. I'll just come at them with what they eat. I know they eat. But knowing them folks, you already know they gonna, them folks, they gonna be extra. They gonna be extra with talking about the kung flu. We up here bringing up here kung fu uniforms, wushu weapons, and stir-fried dogs and cats, and bat fried rice, coronavirus fried rice. I say all that to say, they don't do that. No more than they do the Mexicans. Like they're coming at them with los tacos, los burritos, las chimichangas, las gorditas. They don't do that. They don't do that. They only do that with us. See, I just saw something here in the local news about these two wannabe Crips, right, in one of these suburbs out here, who accosted this man because he was wearing a Chicago Bulls jersey, and they didn't like the fact that he had some red on. And they said they jumped this dude pretty much, and up here producing blickies and all this other goofy shit, basically just doing the most. And I told y'all, one of the main reasons why I hate these motherfuckers so much is because they're fake as fuck. You ain't gonna expect me to come out of a real war zone and then elements of that I'm supposed to just, fuck with, give my props to. I don't respect that shit. And it's like the more they do, even with them having the gats, even with them beating this dude down, even with them doing the most, I just don't respect that. I have no respect for that. That shit does not impress me. And it's not so much the fuck shit that they did, even though that was just some fuck shit. It's the fact that they don't relate. You just don't relate. You a white boy from the suburbs of Colorado. And somebody even put it on the comment thread that this was basically the second installment of Malibu's Most Wanted. I thought that was pretty funny. Because that's basically what it was. A bunch of suburbanite kids who ain't never stepped foot in no hood. Ain't never stepped foot in no real community full of niggas and goons and bad bitches and, pit bulls and, don't know nothing about that. Just genuinely swear they hate niggas, but want to emulate niggas. For the life of me, I cannot, do not, and I guess I will not ever understand that. And every single caricature that they have of us is fucked up. Because this is genuinely what they think of us. This is genuinely how they respond to us. And it reminds me of an old gospel song that I learned a long time ago that my mother would listen to. And there was a part in there where he said, where the singer said, the devil ain't got no new tricks, he just got new faces. And that is apparently true. Because every single time, it is an age-old classic that they come at us with the same old bullshit. As if we haven't evolved. And I'm starting to think it's not so much that we haven't evolved, you haven't evolved. Because you're still pulling that same tired ass bullshit that Elvis Presley was pulling. It ain't 2 cents worth of difference between what was going on back then and what's going on now. And now that tragedy has struck the South, you got these folks who are upset at black folks because we ain't putting on, like I said, we ain't putting on the choir robes. We ain't grabbing us some church's chicken and some collard greens and some yams. You know, just some real stereotypical nigger foods, and getting out there and praying for massa. Oh Lord, oh, don't worry, massa. It's gonna be all right now. We just gotta lean on Jesus. He gonna make everything all right now. We just gotta lean on the Lord. And I'm just sitting up here looking like ain't a goddamn thing changed. Ain't a goddamn thing changed. To which I'm like, well, damn. You ain't figured it out? Motherfucker, things have changed. This is 2020. I mean, this is some shit that should have changed in 2004. If not 1994, if not 1984, if not 1974. Because it's my understanding that change was enacted sometime around 1964. That's my understanding. At least that's what I was told. I guess I was lied to. And I've seen black folks do a myriad of things in spite of all the cooning and in spite of all the buffooning. I've seen, since that time, black folks get into prominent positions of power, get into CEO positions, get into positions where they own their own industries. That's right. I was thinking of another word. They own their own engineering firms. This is what I've seen from black people. And something finally dawned on me. Something finally dawned on me when it comes to the nations and when it comes to these folks. And not just palm color folks, but I mean people from all across the globe. Because I told y'all that I studied ninjutsu at one point, and you will never guess the color of my sensei. With all these fucked up nigga stereotypes, fried chicken and watermelon, Amos and Andy, what's the Uncle Tom? Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Uncle Tom stereotypes that still prevail to this day. You will never guess the race of my ninjutsu instructor. You'll never guess. Even with, I believe that brother's name is Richard Duncan. Even with all the countless examples of quote unquote so-called African American martial arts instructors. And I'm not just talking about karate boys. I'm talking about experts and masters in Aiki Jiu-Jitsu as well as ninjutsu. Real Japanese martial arts, if you will, because karate to me is like the way I see it, it's Japanese. It's kind of like ninjutsu. It's Japanese by nationality, but it's Chinese by origin. That's how I feel about ninjutsu. But yes, my instructor was a brother. It was a black dude. And while we weren't scaling walls, scaling this, and moving around and sneaking, in an environment like this, this would be a ninja's playground, no doubt. One thing we did learn is the art of disguise, the art of deceiving your enemy. And with all the skills that I've acquired, I had to at some point learn that the peoples of the world, that racism is a real thing. So people are going to receive me in the same way, in the same light that their culture has taught them to receive me. There's no individualism. There's no Martin Luther King where it's, Judge judge a man by not by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. No, we live, and it's a very unfortunate thing. We live in a society that does indeed judge us by the color of our skin. The content of our character be damned. And I had to realize, I had to come to the realization that that's how you win. What you have, your agenda, your purpose, your mission, your goals, all that, your dreams and aspirations, that's how you win. Use the stereotypes. Don't dispel the stereotypes. Don't fight the stereotypes. If anything, live up to them. Put on the disguise. Put on the mask like the ninja did. Because you know what the ninja did when they got stereotyped by an ignorant Japanese society that to this day the average Japanese has little to no understanding about the shinobi, about the shadow, the warriors of the shadow, warriors of the night. To this day they don't understand ninjutsu any more than we do. Their understanding, the Japanese understanding of the ninja is about as vague, it's about as outstretched, it's about as misunderstood as the Americans. And I think that's pretty fucked up because that's from their culture. But you know what? Like, take the ninja boom, for example, let alone the stereotypes of the old, like the samurai, back when they were samurai. Like during the ninja boom of the, I want to say the 80s, yeah. Because, I believe it was like, martial arts in America kind of went through a transitional period. I think it was like, starting from the 50s, I think the first one was judo, and then the 60s it was karate, and then the 70s it was kung fu, and then the 80s it was ninjutsu, and then I believe with the 90s and the 2000s and beyond, it was basically MMA. I think that's how that worked. Like MMA and yeah, definitely Muay Thai, no doubt. Especially when Thai boxers was whooping everybody's ass, whooping all the kung fu and karate guys' asses. But when the ninja were aware of these stereotypes that they had, because the samurai denoted ninja as descendants of demons, descendants of like these long-nosed birds called tengu, which literally stands, especially in Chinese, well, Chinese and Japanese, really, like in Chinese they would be called tiango, as divine dogs, which is interesting to me that they call them that because they're supposed to be birds, but tengu, whether in Chinese or Japanese, means heavenly or divine dog. So they had all these stereotypes running around about the ninja, that the ninja can fly, the ninja can disappear, like that bitch off of I Dream of Jeannie, where she can just blink her eyes and just disappear. And then, years later, the stereotypes of the ninja movies during the ninja boom didn't make it any different or better. Ninjas would be up here, as soon as you turn around, turn your back on them, they ass is gone, like gone with the wind, like a ghost or something. Countless scenes of that. And then just having these odd supernatural powers, superhuman strength, and at the end of the day, just a bunch of poppycock, to say the least. Now, what do you think the ninjas of the old as well as the ninjas of today did about that to counter those stereotypes? Absolutely nothing. So, in my experience, I like to think that I'm quite an exceptional black man, and there's nothing unique about me in that regard because there have been exceptionally gifted black men in the past. Because you couldn't task me with creating the first design of a computer or being the head of electrical engineering or like I said or writing those writing those aerospace equations so that our shuttles can leave space or leave space, leave the Earth's atmosphere. Have enough fuel and the right fuel to fulfill to satisfy that escape velocity that would be required for our space shuttles to exit the Earth. Otherwise, it's going to either bounce back towards the Earth or blow up mid-flight. You couldn't task me with that. But black folks have done that. It's amazing all the things that black people have done. That's why I would like to think black people like me are hard in the paint with coons, because coons only serve to stand by those goofy ass buckwheat from Little Rascals, Amos and Andy, buck dancing, bojangling, step and fetch it stereotypes. But seeing that the buck dancing, bojangling, Amos and Andy, buckwheat off Little Rascals stereotypes, not only do they exist, they prevail, and not to mention all the Hegway, Pinche Mayate, Kurombo, Akata stereotypes that prevail outside of America. I had to come to the realization. I had to revert to my ninjutsu trainer. Don't fight the stereotypes. Embrace the stereotypes. That doesn't mean be a coon. That it means disguise yourself as a coon. Disguise yourself as whatever, because whatever it is they got against you, they coming at you full force with it anyway. And it ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it, even if you could prove them wrong. In my experience, as far as speaking the languages of the world that I've been doing for years, are prime proof of that. So to get off that tangent, let me go on back to chewing on this bullshit that happened down south with these hurricanes, right? Let me get back on that. Especially, like I said, little no more than 2 weeks after the fact that this brother named Javion went down there and was found hanging on the noose, and that lying ass sheriff down there, which again, it goes back to what I've been telling y'all about these garbage ass police officers, these unhinged psychopathic cops with a gun and a badge patrolling the streets of Babylon. Now, as far as sundown towns, before I go any further, as far as sundown towns, do they exist in the South? Yes. But here's the thing about sundown towns. Because, like I said, Negroes, I get it. Negroes are dumb. Negroes don't read. For all they know, every Timbuktu town in the South is a sundown town, which it just might be. For the most part. Especially Negroes who ain't from the South. I would expect some dumbass niggas from the Midwest or the North to be sitting up there talking about some sundown town, and little do these dumbass niggas know that the vast majority of sundown towns are mapped in the Midwest. And how do I know that? Even though I do know of Harrison, Arkansas, sundown town. I believe the The city's called Verdale, Texas, sundown town. Jasper, Texas, sundown town, or it might as well be. So yes, it's true. There are sundown towns in the South. And the most pronounced one is in the South is Harrison, Arkansas. As a black dude, you do not want to go to Harrison, Arkansas. That you don't want to do. You don't want to do that. Because it's plenty of some real some real peckerwood, some real crackers down there. Swear they on some hood shit, but but I'm telling you, they rocking the Nazi flag, broke as fuck, no different. Basically, white pookies is what they got down there. White pookies, not because it's like, with the whole hip hop thing that's been going on, it's almost like even racist white folks, let alone regular white folks, have just abandoned the old Hauptsturmführer, the old classic, the classic neo-Nazi SS Totencoat carrying, like I said, Sturmbannführer, Heike Mendel type white supremacists. No, they on some thug, like, wannabe thug. Like I said, Malibu's most wanted type thug boy. I mean, ever since they brought like that dude and Eminem stepped to the scene, it's cool to be basically a wigger and still be a white supremacist. Instead of just being some classic country bumpkin who sounds just like this in the trailer park down in Mobile, Alabama, and swears to God that they'll shoot any kind of nigger speak trespassing on his property. You got me fucked up, boy. No, again, man, they are literally grifting off of elements of our supposed culture, because it's not even really our culture. The whole hood booger, ghetto, gangster, real nigga type caricature is a creation of the Juice Crew. Did y'all know that? The whole hip-hop culture, so-called, is actually hat-hop culture. It's yarmulke hop culture. And I tell you, for all the stereotypes that I get, you wouldn't want me to be the face of so-called hip-hop. I would tear that shit up. I'd be up there making cannibal hop. I'd be up here doing all kinds of things to that hop. I'd be having metal hop. Basically, like I said, making just to spite it, just for the sake of spiting it, just for the sake of being spiteful. That's what I mean when I say that they literally, like I said, look at us like we are just supposed to be one caricature when it really is an expression of their mental state. It really is. And like I said, not to mention the mental state of Negroes who go along with it and expect you to go along with it, expect you to go along with this cardboard, basically fake fiasco of black culture. Because if that is supposed to be the guiding lines of black culture, how come we didn't see any of it back in the 50s and 60s and prior? It didn't exist. And they still had a problem with us. Need I bring up Black Wall Street? I learned that Black Wall Street was just one of many raids, particularly in the state of Oklahoma. I didn't know that. I just heard of Black Wall Street, in Tulsa, of course, because that's the only thing I was allowed to be taught. But now, like, some Negroes from Oklahoma are coming out with Tulsa was just one of many. Tulsa was just one of many. So let's get that cleared up about the whole thing, about the whole fiasco about sundown towns in the South. It's sundown towns all across America. They're in the South, North, East, and West. Hawthorne, California, sundown town. Hey, Golden, Colorado, sundown town. Golden, Colorado is a sundown, or was a sundown town, at least. And you know, it's just my luck, right? It's just my luck to learn of Colorado's racist ass history and ties to the Klan after the fact, after I move out here, and then I get to witness for myself the elements of racism that have long languished in a state that is as foreign to me as Vermont, as Alaska, you know, a part of the world, a part of the U.S. I've never even visited, much less lived there. So it's just now that I'm learning about Colorado at one point being, you know, having the second highest Klansman membership, and all the fucked up history that, you know, Colorado has had. Look this stuff up, because I would encourage anybody black, don't bring your black ass here to Colorado. I mean, treat Colorado the same way you would any other sundown state where they say, Negro, don't let the sun sit down on your black ass. Here in Colorado, as well as any of these other sundown towns. Consider Colorado a sundown state. And big surprise. So let's get that taken care of. I mean, let's get that out of the water. Most of the sundown towns were in. Oh yeah, I was gonna tell y'all. And how and why do I know this? Because there's a book out there called Sundown Towns. I read the book Sundown Towns. That's how I know. And as I now know, is that most of the sundown towns were concentrated in the Midwest, even though they were all over. They went as far as Oregon. I believe Salem, Oregon was a sundown town. Eugene, Oregon might have been a sundown town. They had them out in Washington because they were afraid of Negroes, and that's the same kind of vibe that I'm picking up here in Colorado. Is the whole thing about Negroes immigrating to the West. They did not receive black people in open arms when what was it? Basically during the Jim Crow era, where black folks were basically doing the black migration because there wasn't no job opportunities down south. Again, history repeating itself, because that's exactly why I left the South. And come to find out, as Uncle Phil told us off of African Diaspora channel, that a lot of these Westerners are descendants of the of Confederate soldiers who moved out west for whatever reason after the war. So go figure, they're racist as fuck. I dare say the West is probably even more racist than the South. Why are we gonna sit up here and shit on the South? And the South needs to be shitted on too, of course. But let's not ignore the North, and damn sure let's not ignore the West, because I saw a video about this black chick from Alabama who moved to Los Angeles, and she said it's more racist out there than it is in her native town of Alabama. And as crazy as that sounds, I believe her. So let's not just sit up here and bonfire the South and shit on the South. because they had Jim Crow. Because I promise you, Jim Crow extended to the north, and it damn sure extended to the west. Whatever kind of Jim Crow laws the South put out for segregation, the North and the West followed right behind it, got right behind it. Look at your Denver history. Because strange as it is, Denver has a considerable history of so-called African Americans. Here, who knew? We didn't learn this stuff in school. We just learned about Selma, Alabama, and Montgomery, Alabama, and the Civil Rights March in the South. What we didn't learn is how it impacted other parts of the country, like Denver, where these mofos were basically following suit, doing the same kind of fuck shit. Following right behind the Southern brothers, getting right in line with them. It'll make you wonder why they didn't join the Confederacy during the war. But I guess it's because they had this little thing called the Colorado Wars going on, where they was too busy fighting Indians. Local Apaches and Navajos and other Indian tribes out here. Stuff they didn't teach us. But I just watched this video, right? I just saw this movie. I believe it was called I think it's called Night of the Scarecrow. And it's supposed to be like a horror movie, we're coming up on Halloween. Not that I celebrate Halloween, but I find it real odd that, I would stumble across this video, during this time of the year of all times. And for some odd reason, Night of the Scarecrow, and it's not a particularly scary movie, but it was showing its supernatural horror. And it was basically these townsmen basically picking on this special needs dude, and it was all white, so most likely it was there was probably a sundown town, not a Negro in sight, not in that film. It was probably a sundown town in and of itself. Why are we talking about sundown town? But it's basically about this special needs guy who has a little girl for a friend. And of course, any concerned adult would look at that and with raised eyebrows, of course. But it's understood that this dude's retarded. He's special needs. So one day, he's out here because, he has he basically has the mentality of a 5-year-old. So he's with this little girl, and, they basically break into this, well, he doesn't, but the little girl breaks into some neighbor's backyard because they see some gnomes, like some statues of gnomes, and she wants to go mess with them and whatnot. And I think the guy's name is like Bubba. Like, I don't remember the girl's name. I don't remember any of them niggas' names except for Bubba. But Bubba's like, oh no, Cindy, or whatever her name is. I'm just making up some name. Oh no, Cindy, I don't think that's a good idea. And she's like, don't be such a what? Don't be shy or something like that. Or don't be such a scaredy cat. So she breaks into the backyard, and so then this damn Doberman comes out and chews her ass up. But the dog doesn't kill her. So he knocks on the little girl's parents' door, and he's got her in her arms, and she's all bloodied up and whatnot. Because I don't think like she got it, like she just chewed, like the dog just chewed up her legs or something. But he's standing in front of her, and he's just sitting up there going, "Yo, Bubba didn't do nothing. Bubba didn't do nothing." So this is what triggered all these townspeople, because it was like mailmen, just local bumpkin fucks, basically. Basic as fuck. Not astrophysicists, not engineers, not the things that, we, us Negroes, us who are targeted, by the way, are striving for. At least I know I am. High-tech jobs, if you will. No. Mailman, mechanic, farmer, like pig farmer, corn mulcher for the pigs, them type of dudes, and all had shotguns, like basically some real bumpkin good old boy type folks, Mzungus, if you will. So they get word of it, that something happened to the little girl, and that Bubba basically is responsible. So they set out to kill. I mean, not fuck him up, not beat him up, to kill him. They go up to Bubba's mom's house, and then so Bubba's running frantically and scared, and he runs to his mother, and like, Mama, they after me. I don't know what to do. He's like, it's okay, sugar. Everything's gonna be all right. You know how to play. So she tells him to basically play hide and go seek, like he always played, like he always does. So go find a good place to hide, and don't come out until I tell you to, or until after an hour, or something like that. So he goes off into this cornfield, fuck if I know, but it's got a scarecrow. So he hides in the scarecrow. Now these bumpkins, they got dogs, so the dogs basically pick up. Because, they sicking dogs on this dude. Because they out here to murk this dude. Because they think he did this to the little girl. And I guess the mother of the child didn't bother to tell them that, because I'm pretty sure Bubba tried to explain to the mother of the child that she was attacked by a dog. But it was their already preconceived vitriol for this dude that prompted them to do this, and basically say that he's responsible, he did it. So they're like, fuck it, we just gonna kill this nigga, fuck him. And I know I said nigga, but like I said, everybody in here was white. That's just how I talk. It was a white dude. It's, oh my God, if it was a black, oh my God, he wouldn't have made it to sundown. He literally wouldn't have made it to sundown. That's what I'm saying, because everybody in this film were white. They was white. But so he hides in the scarecrow, like he literally, gets into the dress of the scarecrow and puts the scarecrow mask over his face, in the hopes that they think he's a scarecrow and they'll just go away. But the dogs, give him away because they can smell him. So then, the leader of this little posse, if you will, and they're all armed with shotguns and, hand cannons like revolvers, they tell him to shoot the scarecrow. And they basically Swiss cheese the dude. It was all fucked up. All fucked up. They Swiss cheese this dude. Shot him to shit. A mentally handicapped man with the mentality of a 5-year-old. And then after they Swiss cheesed him, they got a call from somebody from their radio saying that the girl was fine, the girl was all right, and that it was so-and-so's dogs that basically chewed her legs up, but she's doing fine, like she's all right. So then they get to covering up the fact that they killed him, or tried to at first. So first they tried to cover it up. So then when they're found accused of quote unquote murder, they stand trial and they plead the case that, well, yeah, we had our guns, but we were gonna take him in, but he was getting all crazy on us. He was coming at us with the pitchfork, and we gave him several opportunities to put the pitchfork down and come in silently, because we were gonna take him in for messing with the little girl. And believe it or not, the judge bought it and acquitted them niggas. Acquitted them, all of them. Knowing that was some bullshit. The mother knew it was some bullshit. The little girl knew it was some bullshit when she figured out what had happened to Bubba. So basically, Bubba's ghost, or this scarecrow, or Bubba's spirit, masquerading as the scarecrow, if you will, basically was haunting them and doing all kinds of, shit that I dare say they deserve. And basically killed them all. And like I said, they're trying to cover their tracks. They're trying to do everything frantically. And the rest of the movie consists of them doing everything in their might to cover their tracks, keep it secret, keep it low key, keep the truth from getting out. And you know what it had me thinking? The story of Bubba really is the story of the Negro. Because how many of us have met the hangman for something way less than involving ourselves as many times as we have involved ourselves, voluntarily or involuntarily, of some white girl who messed around with one of us and got hurt. Look at Rosewood, Florida. A white woman gets beat the fuck up by her husband, who was ironically enough a deputy, because he caught her whoring about. And rather than telling the truth, because it probably would besmirch her, because it makes sense now. Some odd reason as evil as it is, it makes sense why she would lie. Because if she went and said, oh, the deputy or my husband basically fucked me up, because they'd be like, well, why did he fuck you up? Because she'd have to confess, because I'm a cheating whore. So it was so much easier and much more convenient to tell the posse, the angry mob, if you will, that it was a pack of wild niggas who beat me, who raped me, who did all this fuck shit to me, so that angry mob could pretty much, chase all the Negroes out of town and kill them in the process. So I just feel like, it can't be happenstance that I would run across a movie like that after what happened to Javion. And I'm not even saying that it's Javion's ghost or anything like that. That ain't what I'm saying. It ain't Javion's ghost fucking up the South. It's the Most High. Now you got the spirit of the Most High on your ass, kind of like the scarecrow. Ironically enough, you can't make this stuff up, because our 400 years is up, and I've been sitting back looking at the fuck-ups of an evil, deplorable society that has made an effort to keep us subjugated as we look for our way out of this country. At least I am. And it's I mean, with all the tech that we have, tech like this, stuff like that, internet, YouTube, access to the world, which is what I used anyway, to access the world so that I could gain an understanding of the world so that I could eventually get out into the world and escape this evil place. I've just been sitting back and looking at all the fuck ups that you've been making. Now, I promised y'all a second song. Now, this isn't the entirety of the song, but all the fuck ups that have been going on, right? I thought I would make a song, and this song has a lot of profanity, but I find it hilarious not because of that. I find it hilarious because of how much it applies to this planet when people get out here and do some fuck shit, and then they basically reap what they sow, if you will, pay the reaper, and then sitting up there having the audacity to look, give the dough and the lights look, dough in the middle of the headlights look. So I will sing this. So this is basically a reflection of what I think about all the goofy shit that's taking place in this country, as well as the hurricanes, the tornadoes that fucked up the southeast. What I think about it. Not to mention all the other goofy shit, like Kamala trying to figure out, as well as Barack, trying to figure out why black men ain't stepping up to their votes. Again, thinking that we some caricatures. Thinking we some cartoon characters that have forgotten their past crimes. The nerve of them. How dare they? Anyway. Dun, 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 dun. Now, today was quite the shitty day. It sure seemed like a different bit. Went out to vouch for something new, but not quite sure just what I did. Dun, 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 dun. And in that vouch for something new, I did come across a different bit, only to find out the grass ain't quite so green as someone hid. I'll tell you what you fucked around and did, goddammit. I'll tell you what you fucked around and goddamn did. Now, where could things have gone so wrong? It looked like everything was lit legit and tidy till it went up in a pile of shit. You fucked around and found out what you did, goddammit. You fucked around and found out what you goddamn did. I said you fucked up. I said you fucked up. 'Cause you fucked around and found out when you fucked up. You shouldn't have fucked up. You oughtn't have fucked up. But you fucked around and found out when you fucked up. And now it's fucked up. Yes, now it's fucked up. Now you're bitching and you're sulking 'cause it's all fucked up. You got it fucked up. You got me fucked up. 'Cause you fucked around and found out when you fucked up. I said you fucked up. I said you fucked up. 'Cause you fucked around and found out when you fucked up. You shouldn't have fucked up. You oughtn't have fucked up. But you fucked around and found out when you fucked up. And now it's fucked up. Yes, now it's fucked up. Now you're bitching and you're sulking 'cause it's all fucked up. You got it fucked up. You got me fucked up. 'Cause you fucked around and found out when you fucked up. And I've been looking for a long time. I've been looking for an excuse. Just a valid excuse to justify putting that on the tube just so that I could go listen to it, let alone y'all. I mean, y'all more than free. I hope y'all enjoy it because the song is hilarious and it's still in its development stage. That's not even, I basically sung the first verse and then the main verse, you know, the main chorus is, of course, you know, the part where I'm like, I said you fucked up. I said you fucked up. And to me, the song is hilarious. It's funny as fuck. Because I kind of got it from that scene off of Menace to Society where he's like, you know, the scene where Kane's being interrogated by the police officer, and he's like, you see something? You see now? You know you done fucked up, right? And he's like, you know you done fucked up, right? And I've been saying that shit for years. That was my own thing. Whenever somebody fucked up, especially like if I was talking to my brother, I'd be like, see what you do. You fucked up is what you did, goddamn it. You fucked around is fucked up. Goddamn it. And the worst fucked up part about it is the fact that I told you not to fuck up, but you fucked up anyway, goddamn it. I told you not to fuck up, goddamn it. I told you not to fuck up, but you fucked around and fucked up, and you fucked around and found out and now it's all fucked up. So, and I've been saying that shit for years. So years later, surely enough, I would come to in my innovativeness, right, in my creativity, I would come to make a song devoted to the people of the world who are out here fucking up. And it's a song that is specifically devoted to fuckheads who insist on fucking up, who insist on keeping the grain to the millstone exactly the way it's been for the past 400 years. And then have the nerve to wonder why we're the ones pointing out the fact that they fucked up. I'm like, because you fucked up. Because like I said in the song, you fucked around and found out what you did, goddammit. You fucked around and found out what you goddamn did. It's a song that it pertains to this situation as well as so many others. And like I said, it's something I find hilarious. And you know, before I get off here, I was just thinking about some odd reason I feel like I should bring up the fact that of those workers in Tennessee, and I believe it was Johnson City, where and this should just show you the fucked up nature. I mean, this is human nature. Like, again, you know, the whole reason, just one more reason to lose absolute faith in humanity and to pinpoint human nature for the demonic nature that it really is. You know, just going back a couple videos back about what I was talking about, the workplace, how the floods are surging, like the flood waters are rising, and there was this company, this factory, where all of this is going on, right? And there's a lady there, a supervisor, telling them that they're not allowed to leave. So they just stood there and just watched their impending doom rise before them until they finally got the okay to leave. Only problem is, by that time, it was too late. And 6 of them died. I'm shaking my head right now because I'm thinking this is exactly what happens when you work for these snakes in suits. And that's a book for your ass, Snakes in Suits, Psychopaths, because that's a book specifically designed to talk about and look, for us to research, you know, psychopathy on the workforce, or sociopathy, to say the least. That bitch should be charged with murder. Think she will? No. Even though she used fear-mongering tactics to basically lure six of our own employees to their deaths. Because they were too afraid and fearful to say fuck this shit and fuck you, bitch. Because what good is me staying on this job if I'm not around the clock in anyway? Using fear-mongering tactics. Like I said, to lull these people to their deaths. Instead of telling them to get the fuck out of Dodge. That tells us everything we need to know about this demonic ass workforce. By which they only care about productions. They don't even care about their own employees. I am so glad that the face of America is finally being exposed, and I will personally see to it as I slowly but surely make my way out of Babylon to expose it every chance I get. For every opportune moment that I get, such as this, I will personally see to it that I expose it to the best of my ability. Oh, y'all have to forgive me. It got a little chilly on me. But you know, the weather's been fluctuating. It was 72 today, but it's shooting back up in the 80s. We're going through clearly we're going through a damn Indian summer. This fall, we've been getting some pretty unseasonably warm weather. Because, you know, usually the middle of October, shit, I've seen it damn near blizzard out here during the 7 years that I've been out here. And today marks the 7th year that I have been out here in Colorado, basically making it happen and getting ready to make more things happen, as well as expose this garbage ass workforce all throughout here, Tennessee, everywhere. Like I said, same shit, different hole, same shit, different toilet. No matter where you go, whether it's Johnson City, Colorado, Henderson, North Carolina, Henderson, Colorado. Anywhere you go. I just happen to hit the jackpot of these jobs when it comes to these jobs. Like I told y'all in the last video. And that's exactly what I'm going to use to get up out of it. Not entertain it, not, luck up and get a job and then like, oh, I'm out the workforce, so I'll just live in America. No, we getting up out of here. And meanwhile, we can expect more of these calamities to come, because in case you haven't noticed, while you trying to live up to the script, because I guess after doing something for 400 years, I guess you would expect things to be a certain way. I guess, if I spent the entirety of my life, cooking something on an eye, I probably would be taken aback if I'm in a situation where I have to use another heat source. So I guess that's what's going on, including the lack of creativity and lack of, individualistic thought that's going on with these people, as far as they're surprised at what's to happen and why we're reacting the way we're reacting, as if we were just okay with all that bullshit that was going on during our captivity. And now God's basically coming back to, like I said, visit the third and fourth generation, the iniquities of the third and fourth generation of them that hate him. And y'all have yet to figure it out, even though I just told y'all. And I'll say this much: with all the wickedness and foolishness in this town, in this state, you ain't safe either, Colorado, just because you away from the coastline. Oh no. You think you safe because you ain't because you in smack dab in the middle of the states? All the wickedism and the Satanism and the racism and LGBT, all the foolishness in this goofy ass, garbage ass, liberal ass state, it's coming to a theater near you. And it may not be It may not be earthquakes. It may not be hurricanes and tornadoes, let alone surging tides. It may just be wildfire. I don't know how you gonna get it, but you gonna get it. Because I see this state, and I'm like, I learned that from, I learned a couple of years ago when a bunch of houses, it was like over 500,000 houses. And I'm not exaggerating, over 500,000, it was either 50,000 or 500,000 homes were burned to a crisp due to like some old electric wiring in, it was either Boulder, Colorado, or one of its suburbs. And then after that, to add insult to injury, it snowed after the fact. That right there was when I learned that God don't like y'all. And having my personal experiences here in Colorado, I finally see why. So things like that, goofy, tragic events like that are, that there's more to come with that. And I'm here to say everything of that nature by which those things happen are well warranted, well deserved. Y'all deserve it. Because I guess it's just like Malcolm X said, south, west, east, north, everywhere south of Canada is the South. And from all the racist ass videos that I've seen coming from Canada, apparently even Canada's the South. You would have to probably go as far as the Yukon territories of fucking Greenland to get away from, Malcolm X's description of the South, his description of the South, like he said, which is everything south of Canada. But I say everything south of Canada as well as Canada is the South. And y'all getting some payback. Y'all getting some get back for it. To which I say, good. Catch y'all in the next vid. I'm out.